Hello friends, and welcome to a brand new season here on Encounter Roleplay and to the premiere of our brand new A Song of Ice and Fire game, The Crownlands. Let's go around and say hello to all of our cast and hope that Moldark shows up eventually. Damn you all, Moldark! Let's go around clockwise and let's begin with the wonderful Shauna, aka Flying Cirrus. Hi friend, how are you?
Doing good. I'm excited. I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones and have been waiting to play this all since we've made the house and been discussing about our characters throughout the week. Very excited.
And who are you playing today?
I am playing Daemon Tremaine, the cousin to the heir of the house and the house's master-at-arms.
Awesome. And moving right on around, hello, Amelia. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me.
New game and new setting this season.
I know. This is so exciting. I'm a big fan of Game of Thrones. And I haven't played a character quite this nice before. So this should be an interesting setting for her to live, potentially briefly.
Don't worry, it won't last long.
No, probably won't. Yeah, I'm playing Tyler. Sorry. I've interrupted your blah. I'm playing Tyler, the youngest sister of the family.
I mean, to be fair, Tyler is easily overlooked.
A lot. It's fine. Whatever lets me spend more time around the horses.
Always too nice for his own good. Nuno.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm playing the softest of boys, Astor. He's the head of the house, but somehow also the youngest brother of the entire family, Astor Tremaine. Let's see how long the niceness lasts, because it depends on what people do to him.
How long the niceness lasts is a big question I always have when RPG Webby is in the room. Hi,
I
Sam.
was waiting for you to come for me. I was waiting, and there it was. There it was. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I mean, Sam is normally my GM in this system, so we've swapped roles today.
Yeah, I'm really excited by that, and I'm ready to get into my box and just play the game rather than correct you on anything at all. I promise it won't
And
happen.
who are you playing today, my good friend?
I am playing Jaehaerys Targaryen, legitimized bastard of Aegon the Fourth. Pity he was like the 30-odd bastard along the way because he doesn't mean anything, and to everyone else he's Jamie Waters. He is the son of the mama to both of these lovely people to my right-hand side, and Aegon the Fourth, obviously. He spends most of his time in court in King's Landing, just up the road, but he does often try and still help out his maiden house as much as he can. But yeah, proper Targi emo boy coming at you.
I don't know how to segue from that.
I was waiting.
Of Targi emo boys, Susanna Grace is here.
I mean, you could have gone with emo boy. No. Hi. It's me. I'm back. I'm never gonna leave. I'm here all the time now. And I am playing Lady Allegra Dorsey, older sister to Jamie, Asta, and Tala, who got out. She got away. She got a good marriage. Her husband's got loads of money. She's got kids. She was good and clear, but somehow she got dragged back in to sort out these three Muppets.
You thought you were out, and they pulled you back in. Big thank you to Wild Anvil for those bits. Go and check out Wild Anvil. It's an amazing site which offers a whole array of world building tools and management, campaign details, and more. And perhaps we'll have something special to show you in a week or so over there. Maybe. Speaking of sponsors, why don't we hand over to Past Charlie and hear a little bit about our favorites here on Encounter Roleplay. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. And we're back! Big shout out to Wayland Games, Tabletop Loot, and Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice, which we will be using today to roll d6s, keep some, and drop some. Massive thank you to Lady Purple for that donation. That is a crit fail for Tala. And what that is going to mean in this game is Tala will be at -1 keep dice at a moment of my choosing. This could potentially be very bad, or kind of bad. It's all in the hands of the dice. And you can interact with the stream in a number of ways. Down below we have donation options, which include keep dice and drop dice, banes and boons, which are narrative tweaks to the story, and twist of fate to save one of your favorites from death, which will act like a destiny point in our game. And of course, somewhere down at the bottom of that list, absolute power. And I will say, if someone goes for absolute power, you will buy yourself a guest seat in our game here on the Crown Lands. So that is down there if you are interested at all in joining us here in Westeros. But where are we in Westeros? I should probably provide some context for our game. This game takes place in 198 AC. It is approximately 2 and a bit years after the Blackfyre Rebellion, a conflict between Aegon IV's legitimate son, Daemon II, and one of his bastard children, Daemon Blackfyre, who wielded the Targaryen Valyrian steel blade Blackfyre. That's how serious this branding is, just saying. This is a time when brother fought brother, when the realm was up in arms, and the battle took place not far from where Aegon the Conqueror himself stepped foot and took Westeros, in Redgrass Field, not far from King's Landing. But our house, House Tremaine, was from a time long before the king landed here in Westeros. From a time when the first men stepped foot and began to conquer the wildlings. And it has been a tumultuous journey of rises and falls, mostly falls, for the House Tremaine. But they remain, as ever, always hungry. Today, it is a tournament for the hand of the king. And more so than that, it is also the namesday of his son, Prince Valar, who, if you Game of Thrones nerds, will become the hand of the king in a few years. But let's not worry about that right now. Maybe he won't make it that far in our story, because a caveat for you all. The timeline could change. Destinies are fought for, hard-earned here in Game of Thrones. And even in peacetime, you win or you die. So, what I would like to do before we dive into this tournament and witness the events that take place is I would like to take a moment with you all to establish where your character is on this day and what agenda they have for while they're in King's Landing. So coming into this tournament, as I mentioned, this is the names day for Prince Valar, who is a fairly well-liked prince in the capital. He's a young boy, I think around 12. We can correct that, but we'll say 12 for now. And not only is his father, Baelor Breakspear, hand of the king here, the king himself, of course, is in the capital, but so too is Maekar, another son of the king, the other part of the hammer and anvil with Baelor Breakspear. Spookier still, Brynden Rivers, the crow, the one-eyed bastard, whatever you are brave enough to call him, is here and means to take part in the archery contest. There is no archer greater in this land than Bloodraven, who led, of course, the Raven's Teeth and felled Daemon Blackfyre himself. So, there are some very important people in town. There are more besides the ones I have mentioned, but let's not overwhelm this moment with names. And let's begin with the Bywater bastard, Jamie Waters. Where is Jamie on the morning of this tournament, and what is his agenda for the day?
Jamie is feasting on one of the low tables in the Great Hall of the Red Keep, where breakfast has been served for the last few days of the tournament for the lords and ladies of the Seven Kingdoms. Way up towards the throne, up on more of the high tables, are of course the Great Bastards, and this is probably as close as Jamie's going to get. But this is where he wants. This is not where he wants to be, but he wants to be up close to them.
And what dishes have been laid out on the table for lords who wish to amuse their bouches?
Oh man, probably some blood sausage. George loves a blood sausage in his breakfast, in his writing. Just lots of fried toast. Probably somewhat stale now in the last few days. Fish from the river. Probably a load of different cheeses and stuff. I don't know. Trout. There you go. A nice lightly roasted trout from Matt. There we go.
Delicious. And the air is scented heavily with incense and herbs, attempting to block out the general stench that permeates all of King's Landing, where you smell it before you see it. It's a Westerosi version of those who smelt it dealt it, I believe, but I'll not question that. And Jamie, did you come to King's Landing with your siblings or separately?
I think he did, unless the others are not so interested in it. I think he has been trying to get the house back on people's good side, so he is making an effort at this tournament, particularly because they have a stud, they breed thoroughbreds, that he's trying to basically in a sense sponsor some knights, and also just try and actually maybe hire them a horse, sell them a horse, anything that could be done to gain a little bit of favor, but also to get some money.
Money does make the world go round. And Adeline, correct me if that's the wrong pronunciation, Shauna. How are we saying it today?
Adeline.
Adeline? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Adeline.
Yeah.
What is your agenda, and where are you in King's Landing this morning?
Adeline's agenda is just basically to make sure that the heir, the lord of the house is okay. And basically just she is at his side constantly. Like, she is slightly paranoid about, she hates the city. There's so many people here. She's used to being outdoors. And although she wishes if she had free time, she would have joined the archery contest, but her duties come first.
Okay. And Asta, head of House Tremaine. Where do you find yourself on the morning of the tournament? And what is your agenda for the day?
Yes, I think probably in the morning, Asta would be in the same place where Jamie would be in the breakfast table for the lords and ladies, the lower ones, not the high tables. But he wouldn't be eating tranquil-minded. He would be just going around introducing himself as the newest head of the house, and of all those other houses that he hadn't had the pleasure to meet, he would try and meet the lords and ladies and maybe try and strike some deals, some favor here and there. Boost the name, maybe erase some slander, get some coin.
Amazing. And Tala, where are you, and what is your agenda?
I would be in the same place as the two lads. but only because I'd been told that it would be proper. I desperately want to sneak off to the stables, but I'm aware that we're in public now, and we should probably be seen a certain way. So I'm trying to look as respectable as possible, but I desperately want something to distract them so that I can sneak off.
And how does Tala appear today? What is she wearing?
Tala is wearing a long green dress. She looks a little less disheveled than she usually does. There's usually quite a lot of windswept-ness. She spends a lot of time riding and not a huge amount of time on her appearance, but she's been scolded about that at other public events in the past, so she's made a little bit of an effort. But she's still it's enough of a tousled look for people to kind of not take her entirely seriously.
And sat across from you at the breakfast table is someone who seems most disappointed that he can't take you very seriously. A sour-faced and stern man with dark eyes and dark hair, dressed in the tabard of House Gaunt. He pulls apart a piece of stale fried bread, puts the piece up to his mouth, tastes it, and there's a look of disgust that snarls at his expression as he then looks across to you and then back to his plate. Let's begin in this scene.
My eyes would just go wide at that and just not know what to do with that and wonder if I've got food on my face. Just check. And look to Jamie for reassurance. Like, am I doing something wrong?
You look fine.
Okay. I'll carry on eating, but make a little bit more of a show of it this time. Trying to do it really properly.
And I'll stare at Gaunt.
And what is your intention with your stare?
Psych him out.
Why don't you make an intimidation roll for me? We'll have the first roll of our night.
Oh, giddy! I get a thing to that because I'm a Targi. Bonus dice to intimidate. Alright. I'm not deceiving. I am willing to back this up, so persuasion.
Yep.
That's not the command, is it, Sam? Jesus. That's what I did.
Try again. Make sure you put the space in.
Definitely did. Roll D.
Space. A number of D6.
Oh, because I put K because of the way we do it. And then it's just a number, isn't it?
Yep. Correct.
Gotcha. And it's the number I'm dropping. All right, cool.
Correct.
There we go. 14.
And on a 14, you actually see Gorn snatch up that half-finished piece of fried toast and step out from the bench he had been sat on, moving up the table to speak with someone else, his eyes drifting back occasionally to you and then away. No longer does he look at Tala with any disgust.
Arrogant prick.
And Asta, you would see this small exchange. It was not the most subtle of glarings between foes. And you are wheeling and dealing along the table. Who would you like to speak to, or would you wish to kind of interact with your family who are clearly making friends?
Yeah, so if Astor sees this happening, he'll excuse himself from the current conversation and move down the table to join Jamie and Tarla and direct himself at Tarla. Hi, don't worry about, you're fine, you're trying. And I mean, you're here to make friends, so... And looks at Jamie. So let's try and make friends at least. I think it should be our priority.
Perhaps someone should tell the young Gaunt he should make some friends. He's not here to make any friends. He's here to forge a marriage.
Well, I mean, it's kind of necessary to make friends, isn't it? It's these things that make friendship.
Use air quotes one more time. I am going to cut off your fingers.
All right.
Were they rude air quotes?
No.
Maybe he's not as bad as he seems. Maybe.
He's a Gaunt.
Probably even worse than he seems, but it's what we need, isn't it? But hey, I swear, if anything wrong happens to you, I'll let Jamie do whatever he wants to the gods. How does that sound?
Okay. I don't think that would be very friendly.
No. But hey, family first, I guess.
Oh. Mm-hmm. And give him a little wink.
Excuse me, I need to go and see a man about a horse. And Jamie excuses himself. Gets up.
Do I have to stay here?
My lord.
No, come on. You tried at least. Go on, I'll stay here and chat to people more, I guess.
I look at Jamie. Can I?
Of course.
I'll trot along behind him.
He heads out of the Great Hall, out towards the courtyards. And I'm intending to head down actually into town towards the tourney grounds themselves, which are like right out of town.
Okay. As you pass through King's Landing, the streets are busy. There's a lot of people here to sell wares, to make deals, much like yourself. There are also a lot of people wishing to take advantage of those making deals and borrow some of those wares without the intention of returning them. And it is one of these such unfortunate souls that has just been caught, his hand in a vice-like grip of a gold cloak. And Tala, you hear the slide of metal as the sword is drawn and pointed out at the man who is thrown to arm's length. And this is right in front of you as you come down one of these cobbled alleys between two of the great stone buildings that make up King's Landing.
I would instantly just back up towards the nearest wall and look to Jamie.
Jamie approaches and asks the guard, "What's going on here?"
Horse thief.
I'll look at the person he's talking about.
The person you see is an unwashed blonde youth, hair kind of like muddy straw, his eyes wide and bright blue as he looks frantically between the gold cloak and you. He has no shoes, and you can see on his wrists what appear to be kind of manacle scars.
He doesn't look like much of a horse thief to me.
What will you know about it? And you can see this gold cloak is just ready to thrust this sword through the thief and have done with this. Sorry, Amelia, what did you say?
Horses are worth a lot of money. He doesn't look like he's sorry.
Isn't that a good reason to steal an horse?
He doesn't look like he could steal a horse.
As I said, my lord, what business is it of yours?
None.
Good, then go about your day. And he thrusts the sword into the man, dragging the blade down. Guts and blood spill from his chest, and he lets out a gasp that catches wet in the back of his throat. And he is just staring out at the pair of you. And then slowly crumples down to his knees, and the gold cloak just lets go.
What's your name?
My name? My name?
Everyone has a name.
None of your business, my lord. And you can see he considered announcing himself to you, but took back that intention as he straightens up, wipes his sword off, and resheaths it.
It's not
Just
a very.
to go about your day.
It's not a very original name.
What?
I said it's not a very original name. If you could disguise who you are, at least come up with something fun. Tyler, let's go.
Okay.
Why didn't you ask your mum about fun, Bywater?
I don't look back.
And you can probably make out this gold cloak has been kind of attracting the attention of a few others, and they probably laugh. And then there is that dragging sound of a weight as the body is being carted from the middle of the street.
I'll squeeze his arm as we're walking. I know we're not supposed to talk about that sort of thing in public, but just so that he knows that that hurt.
And if she's if through her body language she's cool with it, he will actually take her arm in into his linking arms.
Mm-hmm.
And you press on through King's Landing. There are a number of scuffles that pour out of inns. There are people laughing and joking. Groups of people arrive by cart, riding through, pushing through on noble horses, some of whose pedigree you recognize as being Tremaine bred. And eventually you hit the wide expanse of land, which has been taken over by tents and the tawny ground itself. Who are you looking for, Jamie?
I mean, we can come to up with it together. Someone who he's been trying to strike a deal with, or someone who the house has been willing to sponsor, kind of just basically lend them a horse, that kind of thing. Whoever we want to decide. I don't mind.
Okay, so the idea is to sponsor someone with a horse for the tournament. So ahead tonight, or
yeah.
Okay, let's go with someone from House. Let me just double check my map. I closed a few of my windows because I was having lag issues earlier. Now I have regrets.
That's all right.
Let me have a look. Reopen. But you can see there's heraldry for miles and miles in bright and raucous colors that should not be put together, George. And it is a real brilliant endeavor. People speculate about the tournament and those who will ride and those who will fight and those who will win and those who will lose. And we will say, you have a deal with House Riker.
All right.
Literally a house, didn't make it up.
R-Y-K-E-R.
R-Y-K-K-E-R.
Why, George? Why?
Because Sam,
Okay.
the number one.
Got it.
House Riker's heraldry is a blue field with a white cross and 2 black war hammers, which are crossed on top of that. You have been making a deal with the, we'll say, not the Lord himself, but one of his sons who intends to ride in the 20.
I want
But
to say
he
that
does
they've
not
got
have
the
an
horse.
appropriate horse. They have the horse
Yeah.
already? Okay.
I want to say that they've maybe had it overnight and they've kept it in a stables nearby, or they've kept it with like their stuff, maybe their tentage and stuff, and it's essentially to like kind of get them a little used to it, get the horse used to them, like either sleeping around them or just kind of being around them. And then today, he needs to this son needs to actually mount it, kind of get it used to him, and get ready for the tourney today. So that's kind of why I'm here as well, I think. Be muted.
So you push on down across the field, and it's like one of these sprawling open-air festivals. People have just put tents wherever they wanted to put tents. The ground has been churned and is muddy, despite the weather having been relatively fine on this spring week, which is how long people have been kind of setting up here for today. You push down to the Riker tent, and there are 4 or 5 people gathered here. Squires, a few hedge knights, and they are all kind of talking, discussing the ground, discussing the approach, whether to ride high in the saddle, whether to keep eyes fixed. All and everyone has advice for the young lord who intends to ride, and he seems to be listening to none of it as he sits with his feet perched up on a box, sunning himself in the morning air.
I will present myself to the household, whoever that is first, with a courteous short bow of the head.
His father is absent. You remember his father was at breakfast this morning, but there is an old maester there who almost acts as chaperone in this moment. And he gives you a serious nod, recognizing you from previous meetings at court and the like.
Is the horse
Susan,
here? Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Here,
Susan,
yes.
really quickly, what's the name of the maester?
Maester Loris.
Maester Loris. There we go. Perfect. Amelia, sorry, please carry on. Is the horse here?
Yes. Is the horse here?
Oh, yeah, I reckon totally. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as we enter and do the little formal nod and wait until they look like they're occupied, and then I'm just gonna zoom across to wherever the horse is and stand as close as I can and call it.
I will distract the maester. Loris, good morning. And I tap him on the shoulder, quite manly, and then I brought you a sausage. I give him a blood sausage out of my pocket.
Oh, most generous, thank you. Rather had to miss breakfast this morning. The young lord insisted on an early start of sitting on his ass. And
I can tell he's doing a very good job of it.
No finer in the land. And he takes a bite of the blood sausage and kind of chews it and smacks his lips. Mm.
I've heard of riding high in the saddle. I haven't heard of riding as low in the saddle as quite that.
Well, that's why we need you.
I am no jouster.
No, but you know horses, and I know just enough to stay out of the end of the way of both ends.
It's best to stay out of both ends.
Not what I meant.
I'll walk over to the young lord. My lord, has she not taken to you?
What? He looks around completely perplexed about who you are and what you're doing and what you're talking about.
the horse, my lord? Has she not taken to you?
Taken to me? What do you mean? It's a
Horses
horse.
Horses are very intelligent creatures.
Oh, is that so? I was not aware.
They have a certain empathic ability about them. They can measure a man from being with him for a few moments. If she hasn't taken to you, I can maybe get you another at this short notice, but it will cost extra.
She's tied around the back of the tent if you want to inspect your horse. My horse. The damn animal.
Wouldn't want to inspect anything. If you're happy with her, I'm happy as well.
4 legs, and I'm told she runs like the wind.
Runs and runs and runs.
That's all she's required to do. If she doesn't run fast enough, we just kick a little harder.
Absolutely.
We are of like mind, it would appear. And he holds out a hand to you.
Yeah, I will take it and shake it and try and get him up off his seat.
Ooh, why don't you make some sort of test for this? Maybe a strength-based persuasion of some description? Have you got any fighting brawl dice?
I haven't got any brawl dice. None of that specialty. I could wangle this as deception, could I, with some no bonus dice in anything strength related or anything like that?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's go with a deception-based roll, as you are suggesting friendship, but really that's not your intention.
Totes.
Yeah.
10, not amazing.
Okay, on a 10. You take a firm grip, and he grips your hand back, and it's an equal kind of squeeze to it. And he frowns as you kind of do the tug or the push to try and manipulate his body. And his feet do kick up the box. And although you don't make it happen, he rises to his feet and begins to kind of size you up. He's probably... How tall is Jamie?
I think Jamie's quite lanky.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not that tall. He's going to be like 5'8", 5'9", I think.
Okay, so this guy is about 5'3", so probably a good kind of head and shoulders shorter than you.
Okay.
But he wears some of the nicest noble riding clothes that his daddy's money could buy. Right down to some kind of Westerosi kind of stirrup. What are those things called on the back of cowboy boots? You know, the little...
Spurs.
Stirrups,
Spurs.
Spurs.
That's the word. Thank you. That's what I meant. Yeah, down to some sort of Westerosi spurs, probably imported from somewhere in Essos. The latest fashion from the Free Cities.
Bravosi Spurs.
Yes, you like them. And he kind of tilts
So
his leg
strange
back.
for a people that have no horses, and yet somehow they make the finest spurs. But then the Bravosi were always the businessmen.
It would appear so. And our king agrees. Although not enough to make them master of coin, thankfully.
Come, shall we look at the horse?
Oh, the horse, yes. And they'll make their way around the corner. But before they do, let's cut to Tala, who's been around the corner with the horse. Tala, what's the name of this horse? Because I'm of the belief Tala would know the name of every horse.
Yes, she probably would have done. And this one, I think, has a very feminine name due to its nature. I'd say it was something Hyacinth.
Hyacinth. Perfect. With an extra Y. in the synth.
Somewhere, yeah.
All right. And there is this mare that you probably saw foaled. You've probably seen trained. Maybe you had a hand in her training. And she's there pulling at the lowly tufts of grass that have survived the churning of the soil, flicking her tail idly at the flies that gather to bother.
Is she behind a fence, or is she just...
There's kind of like two uprights and a long bar for kind of tying horses to behind this tent.
So as I'm approaching, I'll just be like... And she'd probably recognize that that was me. And I'd, as best I could on this ground, kind of lift my skirt slightly and as close to run as I can do up towards this hitching post. And stand up near her nose and offer my hand out. You can never quite tell if they've been away from home, if they're going to react badly or not, but she was always very sweet-tempered, so...
Why didn't you make an animal handling charm test? And this is the animal handling charm, not your persuasion charm. So different specialty with the same name, conveniently.
Right. Okay, let's see if I can do this. So it's... So that's a 5. Hang on a minute. So 5d6. And then just the number that we're just... that's in the bonus, right?
Yep. Those will be your drop dice.
16.
16. Very nice. She kind of lets out a little huff at you and kind of pushes her nose into your hand, searching for a familiar treat, perhaps, that you've given her in the past.
Hello, who's my good girl? Oh, have they not got much food for you? And I'll probably have something secreted away in one of my pockets somewhere.
Maybe an apple from the breakfast table, something like that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Just don't tell anybody, all right? And hold it out for her.
And there's a crunch as she kind of takes a gentle bite from it, and then the rest of the apple goes up into her mouth, and her head kind of bobs in like a happy little nod.
I'm just scratching behind her ears and down her mane, just checking her over, but just scrunching her in the way she enjoys.
Are you looking for anything in particular as you look her over?
Just checking to make sure that she's been used properly, that she's not hurt, that she's eating, that she slept well, that kind of thing. She hasn't been gone for very long, so...
As you look her over, she seems to be much in the same condition as when you left. Perhaps a little skinnier, but you're not sure if that's kind of a horse mother's eye or the actual fact of the case.
You're going to run really fast? You're going to do us proud, huh? You seem so serious in that. But maybe you'll get a good one. Maybe I'll get a good one.
Passing behind you, a white, dapple grey kind of coloration mare is kind of led along and down towards the main tournament ground. It has really elegant barding to it, ornate. This isn't a horse for competition, this is a horse to show off. Its mane is all braided up in a very dramatic style, and its tail the same with long flowing golden ribbons.
Automatically my hand will go to the braids in my hair that are nowhere near as good as that. I desperately want to follow, but I know I shouldn't.
And the person leading the horse kind of tuts at you and kind of makes a wave with their hand that you should move your horse out of the way so they have kind of more space to lead theirs down behind these tents.
Oh, I'm sorry, you've made a mistake. This isn't my horse.
I don't care whose horse it is, move.
Well, I can move, but I can't move somebody else's horse. That's stealing.
Women. Bloody hopeless, a lot of them. And
And I
he kind
stroke the
of
horse's nose at the same time and go, men, bloody hopeless, the lot of them. Just loud enough for him to hear.
pushes the rump of your horse to get her to kind of move more parallel with the bar. And I'm going to make a roll to see how his animal handling does. Unless you wish to intercede before he gets to touch your horse. Or not your horse, as the case may be.
I think I'd let him nudge her because she's pretty sweet-tempered. If he went for it more than once, then I'd step in.
Okay. Oh. No, I can't get it to work. There we go. All right. So she kind of abides by his push, although it's possibly a little more aggressive than was necessary given her nature, and she shifts to be more parallel, her head kind of dropping down and pulling at the skirts of your dress, unfazed by the man pushing through with his horse. And it's at this moment that Jamie and the young Lord Riker come around. Riker holding out hands as if to say, look, horse, it's here. See? She's fine.
You are not atop her, though. There's more my concern, I'll be honest.
It's not time to ride yet.
Are you that confident, my lord?
Yes.
Very well, then.
What, you... Sorry. Were you not going to ride her before the tournament?
Well, I was not planning on it, no. Didn't want to wear it out.
No, she would. You'd have to do a hell of a lot more. Sorry, a lot more than that to wear her out. She's got a lot of energy. In fact, she'll probably ride better if she's been broken in ever so slightly. But she'll ride better for you if you make friends with her first.
I'm sure that's what you tell everyone. And he kind of gives you a condescending look.
By all means, prove me wrong. But I'd imagine your honour's at stake here. Any little would help, no?
What would you know of my honour?
Oh, everybody's heard of your honour. Haven't they?
Oh. What have you heard of my honour?
Well, just that you're terribly important and I probably shouldn't be giving you advice, but I don't want to see you be made foolish. Not that you would, but
Charlie, can I figure out how much I know about the Rikers?
Yes, you can. Why don't you make a memory, a cunning memory test or a streetwise kind of rumor type test.
15 cunning memory.
All right, so the Lord Riker is sharp and well respected in court, but his son is generally known as an utter disaster. He'll start fights and then have guards finish them.
Good. Strong.
And he very much enjoys all of the excesses Aegon IV did.
All right. What about the house? Any gossipy bits that you'll let me have if I wiki them?
There's not a lot to know about them, to be honest, at this point. They are well liked in general. They get along with everyone. It's kind of one of those like inoffensive houses. They're kind of always there lurking in the background. They're always there to assist.
We were there.
Rather than picking any lead. Yeah, it's very much that attitude. We were there and we profited. Good job, us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Carla would know none of this. She just is trying to convince a random man who she knows nothing about to not take her horse out fresh without befriending it first.
My lord, you'll do excellently this morning. This is exactly the behaviour to have. Highest is not known for keeping a rider, so the less you have contact with her, actually, maybe the better. And I just give Tala a little look as I'm saying this. Just a little kind of
glance across at him like, have you gone mad? And then go, yes, she can be a little bit fussy sometimes. But I'm sure if your skills are up to it,
I'm a little confused. Is your name Hyacinth?
This is my lady sister, Tala Tremaine.
Oh.
A pleasure, my lord.
Well, I'm
little
assured
bob.
you train and break in the best of mares. And he looks kind of at Jamie.
I was also a little bit sick of my mouth.
Is he? Are we still talking about the horse?
And he'll kind of size the pair of you up and decide, fine, I'm going to get on the horse and prove I can get on the horse. So he...
No, my lord, no. She kicks. If she doesn't realise who is riding her, maybe she thinks she's back at our house holdings, and then she'll be fine. She'll ride for you better if you don't mount her yet. I want to, basically, Charlie, I want to fuck up his chances.
Okay.
I want to deceive him into screwing up his chances.
Make a deception base roll for me.
We're getting this money either way. Can I wangle taunt? Because it's like the opposite of taunt. It's
I'll let you do taunt for this.
Yeah. Alright, hang on. I've got to write this down now. Ugh. I made myself a little cheat sheet of commands. Right. 5 of these. No, wait. Yeah, 5 of these. I'm dropping 1.
Okay. So he has kind of sidled up to the bar and he had been kind of preparing to figure out how to get up and onto Hyacinth's back. And then he looks between the pair of you. I hope you're better with horses than you are with talking about them. You make no sense, the pair of you. Wasting my morning.
My lord. Come, Tala.
Whose horse is that? And he can see the rump of the white mare being led down through the tents.
One of the great princes, I imagine. Does it have Targaryen barding?
It does.
Hey.
Nailed it.
See, I knew.
Whoever was leading it had more money than manners.
They say that Prince Maekar is riding today.
Is that what they say?
Oh, do you know your opponent, my lord?
Where are the lists? And he's now looking around as if there's a physical list he can consult to find out who he's riding against. He is not...
I'm going to point him to the shack, the thing where they go and do that.
Loris, where are the damn lists? And he kind of pushes through the back of the tent, throwing the canvas aside, walks into a table and then around the table to go and talk to the maester.
I mean, I need to go find the maester too for my money, so...
Okay.
I just burst into fits of giggles. Oh, I wish we didn't have to keep selling horses to people like that. He's going to beat her.
They all beat their horses solo.
Why?
It makes them run faster.
Only if you don't know what you're doing.
This lordling certainly doesn't. Yes. Loris, where's my money? Well, let's just kind of
remind me, what was the deal we made?
Let me check my records.
All right, while you do that, Tala.
I'm just fussing over Hyacinth now because I'm double worried that she's just going to have a rotten life now. So I'm just kind of scratching her behind the ears, just talking very, very quietly in her ear. Right, now you behave yourself with him no matter what Jamie says, all right? Try and make him like you.
There's another kind of huff, snort reply.
None of that. Come on, no mood. Nobody likes it, all right?
No, I know she's a Corsair, not a Destria, but a Corsair on the main market would fetch you a decent sum. Gold Dragon, 90 stags. I understand this is just for a day, of course, but we breed thoroughbreds here, and this horse will not see his lord wrong. I agreed a dragon with his lord. It's a shame he's not here to corroborate the story. I think he's finishing his breakfast.
Quite a deal, it would appear.
There is a lot of money in thoroughbreds.
So I'm informed. Does your house well, does it not, Tremaine? He pats your shoulder.
Always hungry.
Could eat like a horse. Is that not what they say?
About who, sorry?
About everyone in King's Landing, it would seem. And he takes another bite of the blood sausage.
My stomach growls in response because I've been picking in a delicate ladylike fashion at breakfast because I was trying to impress people, and now I wish I was eating more than that.
Who's this you're dragging round with you, Jamie?
Aloris, this is my... No. God's no. Far too beautiful to be my wife. This is my sister, my lady's sister, Tala Tremaine.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure, yes.
Sorry,
I'm afraid the field's a little muddy for a lady. Surprised Jamie dragged you down here.
Oh, I've been anything worse than this.
Tala is actually better than with horses than I am.
And I shoot him a look like he's never said that to my face before. Just absolutely shocked that he's admitted that.
Well,
I'm wondering why, because he's not dumb.
I congratulate you on your accomplishments, young lady. A dragon, you say?
One gold.
Kind of cuts out business. As long as it doesn't break his damn neck, I suppose it's worth it. And he kind of fumbles around in the maester's robes he's wearing, and there's the clinking of his chain, which is heavy and large, one of the larger chains that you've probably seen. And he produces the golden dragon, but he keeps a hold of it. A dragon for a horse. Your house has made that deal before.
Yes, well. Let's just focus on the fortunes of the young lord in the lists, shall we?
And he'll open up his palm and lay the dragon flat.
Does
I pick it up.
Sorry.
Go on.
Does he have much experience riding that one?
No,
It's
terrified of horses.
Oh, brilliant. Well, if he breaks his neck by falling off it because he wasn't holding on, we can't... No refunds.
Refunds.
Your sister makes deals for you, Tremaine.
I'm staring at this gold dragon, and I look at him and just go, just wanted to make sure I had the right face on it, and then walk off.
I watch him go, no clue what just went on, and look back at the maester, and look back at Jamie, and think, sorry, I should go. Lovely meeting you. And zoom off after Jamie.
And there's a loud laugh, and you hear the maester cry out, "Tan cloak Tremaines." And he's laughing. But it's kind of, it's not like a nasty laugh, he's just amused. And he set off with the gold dragon. Let's cut back to breakfast very briefly, as Lord Asta and Adeline have been attending breakfast. Breakfast is nearly done now, although many of the lords seem to have set in for the whole day and will probably enjoy courses until sundown. Your uncle, Lord Bywater, is kind of further up the table from you. Your mother's older brother. And he seems to be enjoying a story about pirates. And you can tell because it's a very large and loud conversation that seems to keep drawing more and more people in to comment. And a bard has come over and is accompanying in minstrel tones with small kind of sea shanties full of jibes and double entendre.
Sir. Was it wise to let Tarla go?
You saw what happened. I mean, it's not like he was paying attention to her anyway. Let her have a break, I guess.
Oh, I'm not talking about the gaunt asshole. You saw her. She's gonna bolt as soon as she's waiting for any opportunity to just go off on her own.
Sure. She's learning. She never had to do this in her life. It's hard. I mean, believe me, it's really hard. But I'm sure she'll be fine. Small steps, I guess.
Yeah, well, she should enjoy her freedom. She doesn't have to live with that family for the rest of her life, seems like.
I mean, it does sound like a nightmare. I hope it's worth it.
Well, at least she's gone. We don't have to pretend to make nice with him. Much it turns my stomach.
Yes, I mean, but you're great with it. I mean, no one notices. Just stand by my side. Everything's fine. I'll do the talking, I guess.
Well, you seem to be holding yourself fairly well.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I hope so. Anyway.
Oh, you know more about this than anyone else in this house. Also, don't let them push you around because you're new.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part. They look at me and they're just not willing to listen. I really try hard, though.
It'll come with time, anyways.
Yeah, maybe in a few years.
Yeah.
Not for now. We enjoy this. We eat. Meet people. I thought we had a deal about a horse. Jane was talking about it. Was it with the Rikers? I think I saw Lord Riker here somewhere. Maybe we should check on that.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
There's a roar of laughter as the pirate tale comes to its end. And at the same time, the doors of the hall, which had been closed to the elements to keep in that sweet scent of incense and herbs, are thrown open. And Allegra, you have come to breakfast. But before we get to your full entrance, tell me a little bit about Allegra's journey.
So I think Allegra has maybe been in King's Landing for a few days. She arrived here just before the tourney. She has come with her stepdaughter, Danella. They are to schmooze with the nobility here at King's Landing during the tournament, as Allegra is on the hunt for a husband for her stepdaughter. So she's basically going to be taking every event, every possible chance she can to make big entrances to showcase this girl. So I think Allegra has been kind of making a bit of a show of herself and Danella on the way to King's Landing and once they've arrived there.
And you step in, the morning sun, gold and bright, bathing as the sun is rising higher and higher towards afternoon. And it's almost as if there is a glow behind your sister, Asta, as she steps in, accompanied by a young woman that you probably don't recognize. And Allegra, you see a room full of gentlemen and their ladies having breakfast, enjoying jokes, gossip, and food.
Allegra kind of, because I imagine Danilo stood kind of a little bit behind her. Allegra always seems to stand one step behind Allegra. So she puts out her arm and says something quite low under her breath that you wouldn't be able to hear, and motioning for Danilo to take her arm.
Which
Sort of,
Danilo
like
will
his
do,
like
with
ladies.
kind of a nod.
Yeah. And she's going to take a moment to just sort of look around the room, and I think she hears her uncle. She hears Lord Bywater, because they're being quite boisterous. They're like the focal point of the room at this point. And Allegra's like, that's where I need to be. That's where the noise is. So she sort of takes her the long way around to get to Bywater, just to make sure that they pass as many people as possible. And she's got her head up, and she's walking with confidence and kind of taking Danilo with her.
Okay. And you make your way up, and you will have to pass your sibling and cousin on the way to this conversation. But you notice that the eyes are slowly turning towards you, Allegra, as people become more and more aware of your entrance. And I would like you to make, I'm going to call this a persuasion seduction roll, based on your description of your attitude coming into this room.
Oh yeah, she's walking around like, I'm hot shit, look at me. How do we drop 2? Okay. That's a 23.
Very nice. And it's a strange effect where the room is slowly growing more silent, but then the minstrel strums up a new chord and begins to play the Dornishman's Wife, much to the amusement and titters of a few of them around him.
Mm-hmm.
And your Lord Uncle stands up, arms wide. Allegra, it has been so long. I am so glad to see you.
And she beams widely in a very, very polite, beauty queen-esque smile. It's very practiced, this whole affair. And she just says, Uncle! And she'll give him a big, warm embrace.
My little girl, you are the spitting image of your mother. And he squeezes you tight. A little too tight, perhaps.
Yes. And she sort of like pushes herself back a little bit. I hear that you're the talk of the town with your stories. Are you telling the pirate one again?
It's a good story, Allegra.
Yes, it amused me when I was 6 years old.
And it'll amuse you too now. Sit down, Allegra. Let me introduce you. And he begins to introduce you to the various lords and people around him, proudly presenting you. Danella's kind of slipped her hand from you as this man has kind of bear hugged you and sweeping you into the conversation, and stands there quietly, pulling down the sleeves of her dress a little over her hands.
After her uncle has done his presentation, she's gonna eat it up. But she does kind of step aside, and she takes Danella's hand and like sort of pulls her gently forward. And may I present to you my daughter, Danella.
How many years have passed between us, Allegra?
She's my stepdaughter, Uncle. I'm being polite.
Oh. Yes, another beauty. We have my step-granddaughter, and he's like tripping over the words, trying to figure out how he should have made that introduction. What does it matter? Another beauty, another beauty.
Yes, come on, Danella, show them how lovely you are. And she's like, oh, do not disappoint me. She kind of squeezes her hand a little bit as she pulls her forward.
There's kind of a small squeak, and she shuffles forward, her eyes wide, and she curtsies, and then slowly does like a small twirl. Not sure what she's really meant to do, but kind of gripping her skirt, slowly turns around so they can see all of her dress. What is Danella's dress like, Susie?
I think it's quite a fine dress, and maybe in the blue of House Dorsey. It's a sort of like a darker teal. sort of color, with some like nice embroidery on it. Not enough that it's like royal levels of embroidery, but it's clearly there's some money that has gone into this dress, especially she's being shown off. The cut of it is not as low as Allegra's, because Allegra is showing off like whole her assets, but Daenerys is kind of a bit more subdued. This is still very lovely dress, but I think maybe she looks a bit awkward in it. Like she's not used to like this level of presentation.
And the slow revolution of Danella stops, and she looks at you.
And Allegra gives her like a well done, and sort of gestures for a seat for her.
Clear out! And there's a wave of Lord Bywater's arm, and he kind of shoves a secondary banner house of some lord out the way to make space. And he offers to see Danella first, and he gives you a wink.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls out a chair for you next to where he had been sitting.
Most gracious, thank you, Uncle.
How was your ride?
Quite boring, honestly. Not much to see. Not much to do in the carriage. Not like growing up back at Castle Tremaine. It was eventful. All the time.
Well, you're here now, and what do you think of it?
I must say, the capital is quite... interesting, I think, is perhaps the words for it. I've heard tell of its beauty, of its architecture, but no one quite tells you or prepares you for the smell.
Well, you do smell delightful. Country air suits you.
Well, life on the coast is quite pleasant. You should try it sometime. Come visit!
Oh, are you that lonely, Allegra?
No,
No.
I'm merely extending an invitation, as would any lady of Westeros.
Okay, I would like a deception roll if you were genuinely trying to obfuscate your opinion
It sucks.
on how it's supposed to be.
Okay. Deception. Okay. All right.
And Asta and Adeline, if you want to join the scene at any time you are there, you can hear it. Lord Bywater is very loud.
Mm-hmm.
I think while this is happening, Asta will just turn to Adeline and say, wait, did we know she was coming as well?
Oh, it's Allegra. Oh, let's go. We have to say hi.
So that's a 17 for me, because I get to reroll ones, because I'm attractive.
Thank you so much, James, for that donation. I get to mess you up. I like it.
Oh, wow.
Good to know. I'm gonna turn that into a -1 test dice for Allegra.
Wow. So rude.
All right. Perfect.
Hi, Allegra.
Asta! And she gets up from her seat, pushes her chair away from her, and just embraces you, pulls away, and she looks at your face. Oh, you've grown up so much. Look at you, you're a man. Oh, Asta.
It's like
And she's
calling
fussing
it.
you big time.
Yeah, just trying to avoid it. Yeah, that tends to happen when time passes. How have you been? I wasn't aware that you'd be here. Hi.
I'm well. I'm very well. Thank you. I didn't know you would be here either.
Yes. I mean, any respectable lord should be here, I guess. So here I am.
Here you are, Lord.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, he's being
Anyway.
modest. Your kid brother is doing quite well for him. Give me a... Oh, it's been ages, Allegra. I'll give you
And
a
she
hug.
moves to give you a huge hug too. She's a hugger.
Yep, I think they're. This is one of the things that she's super happy to see you. It's gonna be a strong hug.
So, is it just you two here today, or have you brought others with you?
Oh, no. Yeah, we brought Tarla and Jamie came as well. Yeah.
So you've left the house empty?
Well, no, there's people we trust there. It's fine. Just a couple of days. Close by.
I got some good guards.
Okay. Oh, well, it's not really my business anymore, is it? Where is Jamie and Tala?
Well, first of all, it's always your business. Your family.
Mm-hmm.
But they went out. Some kind of deal Jamie arranged. The horse, they should be coming back rather soon, I think. They've been gone for a while.
I see. Tell me, Asta, lovely
Yes.
as you are and as grown up as you are, have you your eye on anyone?
That is not my priority at the moment, Allegra. I've other business to attend to.
And she kind of like takes his hands and moves him aside a little bit, and very quietly she's like, Asta, you are Lord now. There is just you left. Don't make me spell it out. You know how this works. This is the perfect chance for you to find somebody.
But we're in peace. It's fine. I just want to build the house up and make sure we're stable, and then I can bother myself with other issues. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. It's nonsense.
Perhaps you're right. I don't know, just too much. Too many things going at once. Maybe.
Well,
I'll give it a thought.
well, you better.
What's this, nephew? Don't want to get married.
Uncle, I don't know what to do with him. Honestly. And she like sort of brings them into the fold with the conversation.
And he's kind of moved away from the group to kind of join this, thinking this is a family problem, clearly.
Okay. In that case, Asta will continue with the same opinion. Yeah. I'll think about it. Don't worry, Uncle. I know what I have to do. It's just a matter of prioritizing things. First,
Allegra, you got all the bywater, didn't you? Look at him. That's all Tremaine. All of it.
What can I say? I think there's a bit of mum in there. Look. And she grabs his cheek and pinches it.
I mean, yes, we all know that Marcus was full Tremaine. I'm just, I try.
Do us all a favor, boy. Try harder. And he gives you a nod and Allegra a nod, and there's a high eyebrow raise of do something. As he's suddenly less jolly and more like the dad who will have words if it's not fixed soon. And he goes back to the table. Dad?
Say I would have given him the whole like conspiratorial like eyebrow nod. Like, so Asta, where are you staying?
Nearby.
Nearby, as in?
Yeah, as in here. I mean, with the other, kind of hush the tone, with the other smaller houses, same complex.
Oh, right. Well, for a moment there, I was worried you were out in the tents with the hedge knights.
No. But one step at a time. Maybe next turn he will be somewhere else, as a family.
Maybe. Well, I'm sure the jousting's about to start relatively soon. Would you care to join me?
Of course. Adeline, would you like to come as well?
Oh, that would be delightful. Oh, that would be absolutely. Allegra, did the children come along, or just you?
No. Unfortunately, the children are with their father back at Castle Dorsey. They're much too young to travel right now. But I did bring with me Danella, and calls over her shoulder.
And Danella is there being spoken to by a Dawnishman. He says, so there I was, a virgin in Bravos. It was a trying time, let me tell you. Oh, no offense, my good lord. And he waves to someone else across the table.
Excuse me one moment, Adeline. And Danella comes across, Allegra goes across to where Danella is and puts a hand on her shoulder. Danella, darling, time to go.
And she kind of shrugs and gives a polite smile to the guy next to him. Don't worry, I will tell you later when we dance. I love to talk and dance.
And Allegra leans across and says, the day you dance with my daughter is the day the snows reach dawn.
Your niece, she is very funny, my lord Bywater. Very funny. My lady, the day you tell me who to dance with, the snows will touch where Allegra shines.
And she gives him that I'm going to fucking murder you look on her face before she swishes her hair over her shoulder and turns away.
And they get back to talking about pirates, Bravos, Essos, free cities, dragons, and all of the fun stuff that they talk about. And why don't we take a moment here to move through time, shift through the day to the tournament. There have been a number of tilts that have taken place. The steam is rising from the bodies of the horses as they get up to full heat and full speed, pacing down, burdened by the knights who ride them. It has been a fine tournament. And the audience is even finer still. Baelor Breakspear, Hand of the King, is in proud front and center with his son, Prince Valar. Also in attendance, Prince Maekar, and a number of other very notable high houses. There are rumors that Prince Martell of Dawn will be in attendance later in the afternoon. And everyone is enjoying the clash of lance against shield. There's been a brief break, and a number of vendors have kind of come around to make sure that everyone is well fed and well delighted with the wines that are being offered. There are lesser stands for lesser houses, but you have found your way into the more senior and more royal stands, although are well distanced from Baelor and the Prince Valar. Tala, there are a lot of horses.
Yeah.
Look, there's another one.
And most exciting for you is an elegant sand steed that has been doing a wonderful job coursing up and down. And you would believe taking its rider to many successes.
Am I sitting with the rest of the family? We're all in the same area, yeah?
Allegra would have absolutely got Tala next to her because he's a little sister.
I'll be kind of not snuggled because that's improper, but just shoulder to shoulder with her, excited to be back in her presence and really wishing it wasn't in this situation. And I'll kind of nudge Asta and go, that one's doing all the work.
I mean, you would know.
Yep, that one's doing all the work. Beautiful, though. Can we, next time, maybe try and get one of those? Could make you a lot of money.
Maybe. It depends. So many things.
I'll just bounce up and down a little bit because I know that eventually means yes.
And as you are delighted with your eventual yes, there is the sound of a crunch as a man is unseated from his horse, although he had not been tilting against anyone, so you miss exactly how it happened. But there he lays just before the stand on his back in the mud.
Did I do that thing again? Did I miss it?
Oh, that was quite the hit. Oh.
It was just another
Getting
man
up.
being disappointing as ever. You're sure to miss that a few times in your life. Allegra says as she takes a big swig of wine. Speaking of disappointing men, I heard a terrible rumor, Tala, and I hope it's not true.
Hmm?
I've heard that you're betrothed to a Gaunt.
Not a rumor.
She takes a very big swig of her wine.
You missed his delightful presence today. Ugh.
Do I have to remind you to keep your disapproval kinda whispered, please?
Asta, you may be head of the house, but you're still my baby brother. You don't tell me what to do.
Just saying. Something
I'm
good.
sat in between this, like eyes darting side to side. It's just wishing I could sink into the ground.
And Allegra sighs, and she pats your leg, Tala, and says, "We'll fix it. Don't worry." Oh, look, another horse.
No. Anyway, focus on the tournament, please.
Silent sisters have made their way down, and with the assistance of a squire and a man-at-arms, the gentleman who had been knocked from his horse is now being carried from the field. There's a sickening way to which his neck is kind of bouncing.
It wasn't our man, was it? The horse?
I
Oh.
hope not.
Doesn't look like one of ours.
Wasn't a Riker,
Oh,
was it?
sorry.
Okay, good.
But speaking of the devil, you do see him now taking his end of the grounds, and a step stool has been brought out so that he may gracefully mount a horse known as Hyacinth. At the other end, the sand steed is pacing, its rider checking the weight and straightness of his lance. He wears a very ornate helm. It is shaped as if there is a tail of a scorpion bending down and over.
I will lean over to a fellow who, amongst us in a kind of vicinity, have been having little bets on throughout the day so far. I'll take 20 stags on the scorpion.
"20 stags on the scorpion." You seem certain. You don't want to support your friend from the Crownlands.
I was about to, and then he got up on a stepping thing. I'm not into that.
Well,
The horse will carry him all the way, but I'm not sure the rider will.
Perhaps we should make a bet on how many bones will be broken. Would that not be more entertaining, my lord?
If you wish. You know how many bones there are in the body?
There's kind of a sneer as he looks up to his friend beside him. And up beside him, you see a semi-hooded figure with a sharp nose and a scarred face on the side that you can see. And there's a smile, a grimace that kind of pulls across lips. I have a feeling we can figure it out. I'll bet he breaks at least a leg.
A leg's a very low hit for a joust. Perhaps a collarbone or a shoulder? I'll take a shoulder for 10 stags.
A shoulder. All right. Money on his shoulder for 10 stags. I bet his leg. He won't
Well,
know
for
how
you.
to pull off of his horse. He doesn't know how to get onto it.
Wait, do you think he's going to break his leg before he even jousts?
If he does, I expect double the payment.
That is still rather low, but I will take that bet.
I laugh out loud at that.
You pay me double if he stays all the way in the first tilt.
Make me a persuasion bargain roll.
All right. 12. It's all right.
Okay. Excuse me. He sizes you up for a moment, and much like Allegra, takes a deep swallow of wine and then nods. All right, double if he makes it all the way. Any more bets? And he's targeting this at Asta. Kind of giving you a pat on the shoulder.
Wait. Of course. That horse is really good. I know the breeders. 10 stags that he wins.
Friend, if you have such faith in the horse, maybe you should raise your bet. What's 10 stags?
I mean, of course. Would you say what? 30?
I swat his knee.
How about 100 stags?
Hmm. 100, you say? Do you know the other competitor? You seem pretty certain.
I know him very well. It is my brother.
Oh, I see. I see how it is. I mean, no offense, but I think the horse knows what it's doing. Your brother, maybe not?
A dragon, if you have such faith.
What do I know about this scorpion helmeted man? Can I make some kind of check to see if I
Why don't you
know?
make a knowledge-based check?
Okay.
I will
Let's
take
see.
sales pitches if you have any specialty dice and knowledges.
Yes. Would it be memory, maybe?
Okay, yeah, I'll take a memory.
Okay. So, knowledge memory, yeah?
Yeah, knowledge memory.
Okay, so that's...
You
As you
just hear
try and
Alan.
remember your kind of heraldic lessons.
Just hear Alan just like sighing, just like, just get him a ladder already and be done with it.
Those were D4s, Nino. There we go.
14.
Don't roll d4s or we're doomed, mate.
No. I rerolled already. 14.
No.
We're good.
Sorry, Shauna, what was that?
Oh, just in the middle of that conversation, Alan, you just hear Adeline just like sigh and just say, God, just get him a ladder already and get it over with.
And as you kind of roll your eyes with this comment, you see him kind of booted up onto the horse by a very tall-looking gentleman who is also tired of watching this fool try to get onto the horse with little success. And he stands to the side. He wears green and gold heraldry. And cutting back to Nuno, you rolled a memory...
14.
Yep, 14. Perfect. You know that there are a number of different houses in Dawn which relate to animals of venomous and poisonous natures, vipers and scorpions. Your opinion on whether that's appropriate or not is up to you. You recall In particular, the story that perhaps your uncle Bywater told you about a particularly treacherous family in Dawn known as the Wills, and that they favor poisons and venom. And you believe that perhaps this is a will, or someone akin to a will.
Let's see. Okay. I'll turn back to the gentleman and I'll say, "Oh, you know what? Never mind. I think I'm good. Look at him. He barely can get on the horse. Horse is good. Can't do miracles. But hey, good luck for your brother."
And he kind of sighs, disappointed. Good luck for your horse, I guess.
So
Total
just
fate.
just to check, so Asta has no money on this horse now.
No.
Jamie is betting on what?
Either that the Riker is going to break his collarbone, or that he's going to make it all the way through by some miracle for double the odds.
Just on his
I believe
first
it's
tilt.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. On the first tilt.
Okay, in that case,
There's kind of some weird, mean-spirited betting going on here.
mhm.
Although it might be
So-
fair-spirited, depending on your opinion of Riker.
Hello, King's Landing calling.
So in that case, family pride's at stake. The horse is more important than the money. If there's a slight lull in the crowd, making like a show of perhaps just whistling for because I'm excited or something about this upcoming joust. I'll just do a very short, high-pitched whistle that when we're training the horses, that means this is important, that you need to really get your energy up. I want this thing to go like the wind.
Okay. Why didn't you make your roll for me? As at this moment, I want to thank everyone for their retweets. I did hit our goal of 20, which means everyone around this table is going to get an additional keep dice for today. So let me add those
Yay.
to your sheets.
So this is a animal charm roll?
Animal train. Animal handling train, sorry.
Okay.
And I will say that you are going to use your -1 keep dice for this. So, Amelia, you need to roll all of the dice as if you're rolling normally. But when you do your drop dice, include another minus number to that.
Okay.
So if you
I
were
don't have
dropping
anything
3
trained, so
before,
I'm
drop
just
3.
0.
Okay, so it'll be 1 that you're dropping.
Okay.
Because I'm using that nat 1 crit against you.
9.
Okay. So remind me, what does this whistle signal for me?
It signals go fast. Like this next one is important. It's not like a do it right now, but I'd imagine we'd have different commands depending on what's going on. So if they had a learner on, it would be a different whistle to just go calm down. This one is it's time, show time. Do us proud.
The horse's ears kind of do that pivoting thing as it hears the cry, and it paws at the ground, and then it takes off. And the guy's body is thrown back in the saddle, and he manages to throw himself forward, and he's riding low. He's still somehow got this lance clutched under his arm. The other rider kind of jerks his head up, hearing the thundering of these hoofbeats, and he kicks his horse into action, having done a kind of a running jump mount to get onto it in time. He grabs up his lance, and the two come crashing down the course towards each other. And there is a collision. Susie, I would like you to roll for me. 5d6, drop 2. And Shauna, if you could roll 4d6, drop 2.
Ooh, that is a 12.
Love a joust.
Okay.
What is this?
So, the rider on the sandsteed comes crashing down, and there is a solid hit against the body of the second rider. The second rider misses the rider on the sand steed. His lance just kind of going high and wild, and it's strapped to his arm so it doesn't tumble to the ground, but it kind of flops around awkwardly. I'd like you both to make a roll again. Susie, same setup, please. And Shauna, roll 2 dice. Thank you.
Oh, 16.
Just do roll 3 and drop 1, just because I think that'll stop the arrow from coming out. That'll be fine. And I'll just take the first 2 that we see. Okay, so the first rider is already past and through and down to the other end, his scorpion helmet glinting in the sun, and he turns at the end ready to begin charging again, having been caught off guard the first time. The second rider, however, is barely clinging into the saddle. It's kind of dropping down to the side, almost in a stunt move that Tala would recognize, but there is no grace, no intention behind this. And you see those shiny stirrups as they graze down the animal's flank, leaving a small ribbon of red. And he remains just the horse, and he gets to the end of the list. And there's a rush of people to come and right him.
Just one tilt. Just one pass. That's all I needed. Come on, Scorpion bloke.
Allegra is mortified by her family, who are acting like commoners here up in this stand. Tala just did a fucking Eliza Doolittle at the races, and Jamie's hooping and hollering, and she's just like, I don't know these people.
Tyler looks horrified and vows never to do that again, because she can see that trail of red down the horse and completely blames herself.
Astor just turns to the guy trying to bet with him and goes and says, "Well, fast horse, silly rider. See? Must be smart about your bets." Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Tell me, do you often congratulate the loser? And he's kind of eyeing Jamie, but he's already kind of signaled to his man to get the pouch. I make another bet with you. Double again if he makes it through another tilt.
Oh, no. Too rich for my blood, I'm afraid. And your man still has to win anyway.
Yeah.
Don't let me take your money now. Your man hasn't won. When he wins, then I'll take double what I offered.
He'll win. And they've righted Riker back into his saddle, and he's kind of swaying and lulling. It's hard to tell if he's going to stay in even before the horse takes off again. Meanwhile, the other rider is sure and confident, and you can see shifting his weight in the saddle, changing position, lining up. Someone comes and joins you in the stands and the benches. It's a very concerned and looking young man in some heraldry of a minor house, and he's tutting and he's looking at the horses, and horse thieves, they ruin everything. Everything. Can we have nothing good? And he's just complaining. And the two riders set off down towards each other. Would anyone like to interfere in this joust in any way before I smash them together?
Just cheering. Come on, Scorpion.
Susie, 5d6, drop 2. And Shauna, the 3, please. 4, sorry. Is it 4? Just lost my sheet.
46, 2. Drop 2?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Oh. It's poor.
And it's a clash again as there's another solid and violent hit, and the man's armor kind of concaves with the impression of shield as it bashes into him, and he nearly knocks himself off the horse, having not been holding himself right in the saddle, having clearly no idea what he's doing, and kind of swaying the entire way down the list. He clings with his legs to this horse, and he throws his weight forward, and he nearly tumbles over the horse's head and down into the dirt. But let's have 2 more of those animal handling rolls, please. That was 36, drop 1 for Shauna.
All right. Oh, this.
Okay. And it's by hook, by crook, by tangle of horse ephemera that I know the technical terms for, that the guy stays mounted on the fine mare known as Hyacinth. And she's snorting and she's pacing. And he's trying to keep her from charging again as they reach the other end of the lists. Meanwhile, the sand steed holds strong and fast and ready as the knight discards the splintered end of his lance and reaches for another. He makes a comment, and you can tell because he turns his head and his squire nods. And then clears away. Okay. Any actions before we do the final tilt?
If you're about to pull a Blackfyre lance on us, I'm not into this. Oh, no.
Don't you do this?
That was very, yeah.
The colours of the lance do not change.
Good. I will ask the victim of Grand Theft Auto, what is going on? So I will say to him, strange friend, there seems to be a lot of it going around. Was the boy not caught, no? The Red Keep?
No, they haven't found my horse anywhere. I had to walk all the way here. Staying out by the docks places. And he kind of straightens up his outfit, and it's clear that he's gotten very warm, and he's kind of wiping his brow, and he's reaching for wine.
Here.
Would you... and I hand him a leaflet that I've been given that I've been using it as a fan. Would you like that to cool off?
And he kind of takes the pamphlet and he opens it up, and I'm going to imagine it's something to do with like Blessings of the Seven. It's like a good fortune pamphlet of some description that they've been given out for the tournament. And he kind of folds it back up. Thank you. Good to know there's some civilization still here at the keep. Really, who steals a noble's horse?
I mean, really.
Are you making bets?
Very quiet.
He looks almost eagerly between you all.
We are. We're making bets on the Scorpion because the sack of potatoes on the very good Corsa that you can see there isn't doing a very good job.
Has Maycock ridden yet?
No, Makar hasn't ridden yet. You haven't missed him.
Oh. Should like to see that very much.
That's what I.
And do you, my lady? He turns to Tala.
Oh, I'm not betting.
But do you look forward to Prince Makar's ride?
Of course. I look forward to all the rides.
You enjoy the joust?
Very much. Well, some of it. Sometimes. That last one, not so much.
What displeased you about it?
It felt some... It's not really proper to say, but... Have you ever had a friend who married poorly?
Many. Though it is not proper to say it.
No, of course not. Just one of the pairings in that last joust was a very good match, and the other, I think she could do better.
I'll place money on whoever the lady tells me to. He kind of announces the general facility.
Allegra looks over her shoulder at this guy. She looks him up and down. What house is he a part of?
I totally don't have my map open. He is a member of House. By the way, I will get you the answer as soon as the page loads. He is a member of a respected house in the Crown Land. House's name will be announced shortly. As the two riders come down the tilt towards each other, House Valerian.
Oh!
He wears turquoise.
Okay,
With
alright.
a silver seahorse emblem.
Okay, that... She, excuse me, my lord. Please do join us. I must apologize for my brothers here not extending you that invitation.
Oh, thank you. He gives a polite nod. And how do you enjoy the joust, my lady?
I find it quite droll, to be honest. It's not the worst way to spend a nice afternoon.
What sport do you favour?
I am much more of a hunter myself.
What is it that you hunt?
Depends on who you ask.
And he laughs, but he doesn't get the joke.
Oh.
And he
Allegra
turns
finds
to-
her sport in a lot of different places, including matchmaking of late.
There's a relatively new pursuit of mine, apparently. Something that is an empire that's growing, and she glares at Asta, Tala, and Danella. She gives you all the, this should not be my job, look.
The being of huts is a noble hobby.
And she kind of gives him that sideways look. What of yourself, my lord? What do you know of the game of hearts?
I know that it is a game that I would rather stay out of.
Oh?
Afraid it is much too complicated for me.
Very wise. I take a little sip of the drink that I have.
The collision of men on horseback is much more my understanding.
Much easier to see who's winning.
Seems that you've met someone of a like mind here, my lord. Please don't let me interrupt. And Allegra's just gonna sit back and let Tala and this guy chat a bit. But she's keeping an eye, you know.
But her saying that, Tala goes completely wide-eyed, like this has never occurred either. What is today? Why is she doing this? Because now I feel under the spotlight. Whereas before I was just chatting.
During the distraction of the young lordling, you didn't notice that the two horses had begun their charge again. And Tala, you miss it almost entirely until you hear the collision. Susie and Shauna, if you can make your rolls, please. Nuno, what is Asta doing as this guy is kind of making friends with your family?
Asta is definitely listening to the conversation and waiting for what Allegra has to say. And the moment Allegra goes, yeah, let's let them chat, Asta just completely ignores the joust. Nope, 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 nope. And pays attention to what's going on between Tarla and this lords.
And the Dornishman behind you calls out, seeing your attention kind of sway, says, how about the bet, my lord? I'm sure you can think of something creative to make money.
How are the jousters looking now? The ones that are competing. What's the state of them?
Riker is a hot mess, and the rider on the Sandsteed seems to be fairly solid still. But Hyacinth definitely is ready for action as she's turned for this final jousting ride.
Look, my good sir, clearly we have a winner there. What about something more interesting? Middle point about there. And I point up to a sign in the fence or whatever and say, bet you that the horse over there, pointing at Riker and Hyacinth, reaches, yeah, and kind of points maybe like 2/3 of the way. They'll meet there. For sure. Much faster horse. What do you think? 50 stacks?
All right, 50 stacks. There is nothing faster than a Sandsteed.
Sure. Let's see.
Back in your box, Webby.
That was kind of in character. He was like,
Oh.
no, I'm not going to bother.
All right. This time, Shauna, I would like you to roll an additional 1d6 for me. If you do /die 1d6 or grab the dice and throw it, that'll be fine. Okay, so that is a total of 13 for the will. And it looks like a 19. Is that correct, Shauna? 4 for 8. Yeah, 19. For our good Lord Riker. The horse takes off. Riker is clinging for dear life, but he is so determined in his clinging for dear life that he has gripped everything to him like a vice. And he is watching very carefully the approach of the man at speed from the opposite direction. And he ducks low and deep into the saddle. And I would let you both make your animal handling rolls before we determine the outcome.
14.
14, very good. 12, excellent. So, this time the will feels the biting, bludgeoning clash of lance against his body, and he is knocked back into the saddle where he had been perched high up, riding, prepared, eyes fixed, ready to kill. Beat the other man riding along so poorly in this joust. And purely by luck of having his head ducked so low, the lance glances across Riker's body and collides with the shield. There are some splinters that go cascading down, and both men remain in their saddles as they reach the opposite ends. And there is a call for a halt to the joust. But Riker doesn't hear it, and he comes pummeling down again, fire and blood seething through his body, and Will kicks off, charging, ready to destroy this man in any way, shape, or form. There's a squire that comes running out in an attempt to stop the two charging coursers coming down the course. It is a fool's errand, and he has to kind of skid and slide across the muddy ground and out of the way of these charging horses. And Nuno, just as Asta had called for the last tilt, it is exactly in that point where they meet on this unannounced, unofficial bout. And the two lances connect with bodies, and both men are knocked loose in their saddles, and they sway. And there is a sense of weakening in the will as he kind of leans forwards, and you get the impression from the huge dent now in his center breastplate that he's probably just been very nastily winded, possibly a rib broken from the pure collision that Riker has brought unto him. Riker, however, tumbles from the saddle down into the mud. And he is nearly trampled by Hyacinth as she attempts to kind of free herself from the body that is dragging at her side, caught up in the stirrups.
Aw.
Tuck and roll, come on. Oh.
Men rush the field, the silent sisters who had made their appearance earlier making their way too, as there is a tangle of man and horse. Well, seems your bet was well made. And he's looking to Jamie.
Quiet.
You called the spot, but wasn't on the right tilt, sir. He looks to Asta.
Huh. I mean, still faster. Place I called it. In my eyes, I think that was fair. But you know what? Gesture of good faith. No win, let's call it off. But you've seen the speed of the horses. I can hook you up with some. Just if you ever need good quality coursers, maybe we can make business.
A horse will always be faster when its rider cheats.
Look, the other rider also went for it.
We would never back down from an assault.
Absolutely, and it was very noble of the rider. Truth is, horse was faster. Just saying. Happy to call it off. Not gonna be fussed about it, but hey, if you really want fast horses, think about it.
Make a persuasion roll for me, you know.
Would you count this as convince?
Yes, I would.
Perfect. That's... Oh wait, what did I do?
You
Oh,
rolled
it should
4
be
and
5.
dropped 1.
Whoops, sorry.
Okay, just roll
Should
another
be like
D6.
this.
Oh, there we go.
21.
The younger Will eyes you curiously. All right, you show me your horses later. I'm very
Perfect.
curious what it is that makes them so special.
Training. Proper training. But hey, a thing we haven't perfected is the riders. That's up to who buys them. And then point at the scorpion-headed rider. But I'm sure you won't have a problem with that, huh? Good rider.
He is.
I turn round to them and I go, if a rider cheats, that can win you a race, maybe. But if you really want to make a lot of money on bets, bet on the horse that wants to be ridden.
That is very curious advice. Thank you, my lady.
Well, this is all lovely, but I would quite like my 60 silver stags now.
60. Don't believe that was our agreement.
Was it not? Was it 40? Maybe it was 40. I forget. I've had quite a lot of wine.
And he gives the nod, and the man with the strange grimace hands over the money. You won't be deceptive, right? I forget exactly how much you.
I literally have forgotten how much I bet. I'm willing to go with 40.
I think it was 20 doubled. I had 40 in my
think it
brain,
was 20.
but I'm now
Yeah.
like, wait. Yeah. Okay. Just double checking. I didn't have to.
But if it's anything, it's this kind of frivolity with cash that like it doesn't matter. So he's
Yeah.
that like it's this kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And it's paid over by the man with the grimace, who then sits back down. And out in the distance, you hear a cheer go up. One of the other contests has just finished. Apparently the crowd approve of the winner. Another set of riders prepares. You can see a portly maester is in attendance with the rider on the far side of the joust. The rider at the current side is attended by the tall man in green and gold. They have a quiet conversation. The maester seems flustered and begins to make a very dramatic greetings, praising Prince Bilal on his name's day. A small boy comes rushing in to the far end of the tournament ground and attempts to climb up on the horse with the rider. He's dragged backwards and down by the portly maester, who all but bodily throws him across the area. But to ride with him, that would be quite the spectacle, wouldn't it? You hear him yelling at this poor boy, who's signaled to run and waved away. The maester makes apologetic waves and thank yous to the crowd. Very generous in his gesturing. And he adjusts something on the rider's saddle. Takes a breath. The other rider begins to charge. The flags have been dropped. The tilt has begun. But the rider with the maester does not begin to run. The maester looks wildly around and then slaps the horse's rump. And off it takes, riding down towards its opponent. The lance remains up, pointed towards the sky, far, far too long by the maester's rider. And it's commented on by the lordling Valerian. He's meant to put that down.
Well, you'd think so.
Two of these in a row? Ugh.
Where are they getting these knights from? This is very disappointing.
Come on, it, man.
The sort of place that they have to hit them to make them go.
Oh, he's gonna get
Sure they're
skewered.
knights?
Amateurs.
Is it drunk?
Wait, that's my horse! And he stands and points. And as he does so, the two riders connect. And there is an explosion of something from that rider who had been supported by the maester. And the rider falls from the saddle to the ground, and all around this clinking, clattering sound. Stags, silver stags, hundreds of them, scattering in the air and down into the ground and the mud. The other rider doesn't know what's happened, is confused. The rider on the maester's horse lays still in the mud, face down where he'd fallen. They will stand. Baylor calls for someone to get the Silent Sisters. And everyone watches as the rider doesn't move. He just lays there, surrounded by all of these glittering coins.
Allegra, like, shields Danella's eyes, because this man is clearly very dead.
The hell? The hell's going on?
What is happening?
Well,
What is this?
it wasn't even that
No.
poor hit.
Is it a
I
trick?
don't know. What's
No.
with the coins?
Wait.
That's your horse.
Yes, someone's painted on her socks. I know her anywhere. And he's looking concerned as this horse is kind of trailing off, and you see the saddle is a strange arrangement of harnesses if you're looking in that direction. Being horse people, you can easily see that this is a modified saddle arrangement.
Something's not right here.
I mean, it's weird, but nothing wrong, right? I mean, I don't know. Huh?
Everything's wrong with it. Some kind
Keep an eye
of
out.
ploy or other.
Hell
If this is a joke, it's in very poor taste.
Absolutely.
Very.
Gold cloaks advance on the maester now. Everyone is in agreement. There is something very wrong here. And you can hear the shouts of the maester and the man with him. The maester wishes everyone well on this great names day. Happy birthday, Valar. And I would like you all to make awareness notice checks.
Ooh.
Awareness notice.
Oh,
I will. I'll use one of my
Awareness.
extra keep dice for this.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, why not?
Oh
Can I
yeah,
roll
I'll add a
another
keep
dice?
die to it.
Okay.
15 for me.
oh God, why aren't you close?
It's a 23 for Aster.
Oh.
Amelia and Shauna, are you using your keep dice?
I'm attempting.
Yeah, I'll add that on there.
I'm attempting to. This has taken up the full screen, and it now won't stop doing that.
Okay, so that's.
And I don't know why. Oh, hang on a minute.
So I have
Oh God, the whole
I have
thing's
keen
gone down.
senses, so
Hang
it's
on.
gonna
2
add a
seconds.
bunch to this.
No worries. All right. Did anyone roll under a 9?
Nope.
Okay. Did anyone roll under a 12?
Don't think so.
No.
Oh, here we go. Hang on a sec.
It's all right.
So it was an awareness notice, right?
Notice. Yes.
Okay.
And you'll roll an additional keep dice.
Okay. So I'm rolling. So if my score is 4, I'm rolling a 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it took long enough.
Does rerolling ones apply to drop dice or all of them, or just kept
All
dice?
dice. All
Okay.
dice. So even your drop dice. You do your rerolls before you do your dropping.
Okay. Okay. 21.
Okay. There is a lot of shouting, but you clearly hear the name King Daemon Blackfyre called out. And then you see it, the bright light that blooms in the center, like a sun flare around a person as the maester sets himself on fire. And it's a great whoosh of blossoming flame. The gold cloaks stand back, trying to shield their eyes, afraid of the heat perhaps, or just pushed back by its pure intensity. And that strange, acrid smell of burning flesh fills the air, dark black smoke billowing down and along, blown by the breeze from the bay, up and along and into the stands. Baelor and his son Valar are quickly evacuated away. A space cleared for them by the King's Guard. Maekar advances on the field, moving down from the royal stand. He stoops and picks up one of those silver coins. And Jamie, coming down onto the field from a far away, distant part of this tournament ground, another figure that you recognize, another lanky man, an archer whose bow is still on his back. As Brynden Rivers appears, he walks calmly in no haste, as if strolling through his own land. He comes to stand beside Maekar, and they exchange a tense word. Brynden nods, glances down at the scattering of silver coins, and you hear him whisper, "Shower of silver." And then he walks away, more Kingsguard falling in line behind him. The box falls into disarray as many lords attempt to leave. Some try to lean over to see what is happening with the man whose face is still down in the dirt. What do you all do?
I want to have made my way towards the front, actually. down to the bottom of the box. So that if I can, Charlie, as you said, like I can just about hear what is said there. As at that point that I'm by the fence at the bottom of the stand and trying to look over and see what's going on.
Lord, we need to go now.
Okay, I'll follow you. Let's go.
Get everybody. Make sure we're everybody together. We have to leave.
Tarla, time to go.
All right. I looked to the gentleman that we were talking to. I don't know what's going on, but if that's your horse, do you want to come with us?
Forget I ever said it was my horse. He says in like a really timid, high-pitched voice as he's like staring down at that field.
I look at him like, just us. Find your own way.
Tarla,
I'm sorry.
now.
Sorry. And I'll go with them.
And Allegra pulls Danella tight and close to her, like in a really protective way, and sort of hustles out with the rest of the family. But she's very like also like staring and seeing what's happening.
Danella had stood as much of the box had when it became clear something strange was happening, and the color has drained from her features, and she is just pointing towards the smoke and the fire, staring in horror. She plays with the sleeve that she's pulled over her hand and then covers her mouth with it. And she feels your tug, and obediently she follows. But you see her head just constantly being pulled back in much the same way as your head is towards what is going on.
I think in contrast of how kind of snippy Allegra has been, like the time with her here, she's very much more comforting, you know, and like making sure she's okay and like sort of smoothing her face and her hair. And just trying to be nice to her because she clearly looks very traumatized.
As they're walking along as a group, I think Tyler would reach out and take her hand and kind of just give her a little look of reassurance, like, yes, this is horrible. I think it's horrible too.
As she kind of begins to move and is maneuvered by Allegra into a more protective position, she kind of half trips on her skirts and ends up kind of half bowed over. And then she straightens up and she sees your offering of a hand, Tala, and she takes it, and she's now protectively between the two of you. And you follow Asta and Adeline out and away, following a press of people moving in the opposite direction from the drama that is occurring at the front side of the tournament grounds. And Sam, you said you were kind of right there in the action. What was your intention?
Have a sneaky peek.
Okay.
It's okay.
What would you like to be looking for?
I want to be seeing how the princes are reacting, and also to just take a look at the coins.
Okay. You can see that Makar is in a foul temper. It's not something that he hides. It's very clear on his face as he sternly looks back and forth. And he kind of makes commands and orders, having seen his brother and nephew kind of safely removed by the Kingsguard. He's organizing people here. And he is the one that stoops down and turns over the body, shooing away the Silent Sisters, turning it over and seeing who it is that lies here in the dirt, shifting back the helmet. And there's something strange that crosses his features. It's not an emotion that you would recognize, not knowing Makar perhaps intimately, but it's a reaction to what he is seeing. And he bends down and he rips away the leather straps that hold the breastplate to the body, and more coins come tumbling out. And there is a scrap of paper there underneath, and he picks it and he sees the seal. And he grips it in his hand, crumpling it hard. Looking down to the coins, you remember your earlier comment to Mace Dolores about the face being right. The face is most definitely wrong on every single one of these coins.
Blackfyre silver. I will actually leave.
Okay. Are you going in the same direction as your family?
I want to try and find dumb Game of Thrones misknowledge
Right,
here. What? Who did you? No, who did you say the house was? It's not Valerian, is it? It's the horse. The guy who's got his horse nicked. Yeah.
Yeah, House Valerian.
Valerian. Okay, I just can't find it on the wiki. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
It's Velaryon.
Oh, Vel. God.
Valerian, I guess.
Oh yeah. Dumb names. Cool. Oh, cute symbol though. Okay, yeah. No, I want to go and find Lord Valerian.
He's actually shuffling out in the same direction as your family, although trying to respect Adeline's command that he not go with them. He's all but swept up in a sea of noble people moving this direction. He keeps looking back and looking around. The Dornishman that you've been betting with has moved away and disappeared amongst the crowd. But you find the Lord Valerian. What would you like to do?
So what do you plan on doing now, then?
I suppose it's back home. Not sure there's much else to be done.
Horse thief.
Honestly, it was.
It's a very, very good bet. Especially given placing the young boy in the Red Keep, making a display of all that.
What?
Wouldn't have cost much silver to pay the guard to garrote the boy, would it?
What do you mean? What are you accusing me of?
I don't know. What am I accusing you of?
Or rather you decide not to accuse me of anything.
Perhaps I might not. How many people do you think heard you at the stands saying, "That's my horse"?
Sure no one really noticed. No one was watching the joust except for your family.
I'm not sure anyone really noticed either. I would like to intimidate him, please.
Okay. Make your intimidation roll. What is your goal with this intimidation?
My goal is actually to not to meta it. I think my goal is actually to figure out whether he has done this, whether it's his plot, because I think I'm in character. I am tying up the event with the kid at the beginning in the Red Keep with this. Like, I think that's a power play. I think that's he put him there, and like this kid was not a horse thief. Like, this is ridiculous, and like has paid this guard to make a show of killing this boy so that he doesn't get the blame for this plot. It's misdirection. Okay. He's thinking. So he's trying to get that kind of, did you do it? I just need that little glint in your eye. I just need that, little thing. So
yeah, you want to see how panicked he is, I guess.
For sure, yeah. Putting the pressure on a little bit and kind of inferring what's going to happen.
Donates 375 bits for Sam being louche.
Thanks.
I'm not sure whether that translates in your favor or not.
I don't know, because I'm a country bumpkin and don't know of such words. So that would just give me a dice, Charlie. I'll have a dice from my other previous the dice though from this. Okay.
Yeah, use that dice. I'll
yeah, thanks.
Tick that off for you.
Persuasion 3, intimidate 1. So this is a keep dice, right?
It is a keep dice. That's correct.
All right, nice. 5 and 4. Cool. Be nice to me. 15.
15. You see very clearly the evaluation crossing his face as he knows he's being pressed for something. But also, he's very aware that you did hear and that your family heard. What is it you want from me?
Nothing.
I did not do this. I swear it to you. On my honor.
Did I figure it out?
You believe he's being truthful when he says
Sure.
he was a victim.
My lord, we are not exactly far from each other's holdfasts. Now the Crown lands have always been full of minor houses, but it always pays to have alliances wherever you might need them. Just remember us, my lord. And we can forget certain things.
Perhaps over dinner tonight, then. If I stay. Should I stay?
As you wish, my lord.
And you get the impression he's kind of intimidated enough by you that he's going to take your lead. If you tell him to go, he's going to go. If you tell him to stay, he's going to believe that's the smart course of action.
I will speak to my lord Tremaine, and I will see whether he has a place at his table tonight. And I'll give him the kind of the inn that we've hired, or the quarters that we're in, or whatever, in town. I shall send a runner to your quarters, wherever you are, and perhaps we can dine and drink some more together.
Please do assure my lord I had no part in it, and my conversations with your family were purely innocent in intent.
I promise I will make all of those assurances and more, my lord.
Thank you. And his disposition towards you has increased. Just for a mechanical benefit to the conversation.
Cool.
Kind of keeping the social stuff simple for today. We'll dive into the more involved social mechanics either later or next week, I imagine. What time do we start? 7, 8, 9. Oh, we're nearly done. Time has flown. I have to do maths. I'm excited. So, as we are in the last 20 or so minutes, what we will do is I would like everyone to remind me of their agendas for today. We'll start with Allegra and we'll go anti-clockwise. Allegra, what was your agenda for today?
Allegra's agenda for today was to basically present Danella.
Okay.
Get her
And
scene.
you succeeded in that agenda. For next week, I'd like you to update your agenda as to the next step towards your goal. Jamie, what was your agenda for today?
I have been bad with homework and thought far too long term about everything.
Short-term actionable goals, Sam.
Shut up, man! Don't even. I was starting with main objective and then branching off with like thinner goals from there. So, make alliances at court, I think.
Okay.
Was it?
So I would say you have succeeded in making a connection with Lord Valerian, as well as Maester Loris.
Nice.
And obviously update your monetary values to reflect the 40 silver stags and the 1 gold dragon.
Oh, I have. Don't worry.
I had a feeling. Okay, Nuno, what was Asta's agenda for today?
His agenda was to get another house's favor to boost Tremaine's economy, mainly grow the horse business.
Okay. We'll do another final scene with you in a moment, I think.
Okay.
I forgot your name. Amelia. I wanted to call you Tala. Amelia, what was Tala's agenda for today?
Just to not humiliate her family.
Mixed results on that one.
I know.
Awesome. But you can update your goal for next session. Shauna, your agenda today.
Protect our lord
Okay.
and our family.
So, the scene I would like to pursue then is Adeline and Asta at the head of the party for the family, making your way down through the crowds. Where do you decide to go in this moment? Your accommodation is not nearby. You are out in the Tawny Lands, which is, tent city, a lot of people, and a lot of people now pushing their way back towards the Red Keep. So where do you decide to go? What do you decide to do?
Aster is literally following Adeline's command as he thinks she knows what she's doing.
Her plan right now is just to kind of take stock. So she's gonna just urge them to go into an inn or a tavern, just so that we can kind of get an idea what's going on. Maybe like calm down, make sure we have everyone, and then at a later step, head back to our accommodations.
So probably Aster would help in pointing out, maybe go there. Let's stop
That
there.
one's fine.
Or something. Yeah.
Okay. As you make your way through the crowds to a kind of a safe location to regroup and figure it out, the brother Will approaches you, the one who had been making bets and agreements. And with him, still in his armor, the rider Will, whose helmet has been pulled up and back. You see, brother, this is the one who promises me the fastest horse in Westeros.
Look at Adeline and kind of go with a sorry look, and I stop and I start chatting to them.
Fine. But I'll stand like really close, like just kind of like shadow him a little bit, and just kind of like just make eye contact with them. Just know that I'm watching them.
Mm-hmm.
I wish this was under like less dire circumstances. I am not sure what happened, but first of all, congratulations on your victory. But I can assure you, as your brother said, you would be better served with one of our horses, for sure.
How many horses do you have with you?
Here in King's Landing, we have just a couple, but we're local to the Crownlands. Maybe you could visit us and our house, and you could take your pick of our best.
How far is it from here?
How far?
This is the rider Will. It's about a day's ride. You are really not far out from King's Landing.
Okay. Oh, it's just but a day's ride. I think it would be worth your time.
Tomorrow.
That sounds perfect.
Good.
And I'll give
Tell
them...
your lord I will see him in his home, and I will proudly admire your horses.
I shall pass on the message. Do not worry.
Good.
I give a look to Aster.
I squeeze his arm in a way that he knows means I am trying not to laugh out loud in public.
And the two brothers will kind of push through and away.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Allegra.
No, I was going to say somewhere in the background, Allegra screaming into her sleeves, like, not the Dornish! No! I'm a reacher! No, I'm not. Never mind.
You're a Crownlander.
Shit, different game. Still Dornish. No good.
Look at Adeline's reaction, and I just go, don't worry, I read it in a book. It's a power play. Then they'll show up, and it's fine. Let's go.
I give him just the most indignant look at him. It's like, and then just kind of like switch my cape and just like head out. We're gonna go.
I take his arm as we walk, and just giggling as we walk away. Like their faces when they turn up and meet you.
Exactly.
An arm reaches out towards Tala, kind of taking your free shoulder.
Oh.
Tell me, my lady, does death always amuse you so? And you see the sharp face of Gaunt staring at you.
I'm going to intercede myself. It's like hands off.
Ooh.
Now, and I'll like make that kind of like motion toward my my sword belt.
Okay, make an intimidation roll for me.
Okay, is that persuasion?
Yes, persuasion
Oh,
intimidation.
That's lovely, because that's gonna be great. 6. Good.
And he kind of locks eyes with you and then dismisses you just with his eyes and looks back to Tala. You should get somewhere safe, my lady.
I believe that's what we're doing already, isn't it?
Follow me then. And he kind
Allegra steps forward.
Yeah.
You must be the Lord Gaunt.
Allegra Dorsey.
Lady. Allegra Dorsey, yes.
So I'm informed.
I hope you're not intending to take my sister away unchaperoned. As far as I understand it, you're not married yet.
Of course not. I intend to escort our entire families to safety. And he kind of waves a hand, and you can see with him the spinster Gaunt is kind of lurking.
Tala, do you wish to go with Lord Gaunt? Or would you like to retire to my apartments with my guard?
Asta,
We have this taken care of.
I shall do whatever my lord commands, and currently, and I just look at Asta.
Yeah.
What
It's
is it
proper.
you command, Asta?
Astor turns to the Gaunts. To the Gaunts. By all means, I mean, strength in numbers. Let us go together. Keep an eye out. Come, join us. You and your family. Trying to convince them to defuse the situation and just...
You just
"Hey, let's just all go together. It's better.
you just hear Alan just she closes her eyes, just like sighs, just like, damn it.
Smart woman and a very sensible lord. Come. And he will lead you kind of away to a tent that has been set up in the grounds. It's one of the larger marquee type events, and there are a number of kind of guards and things posted around. And that is where we will finish tonight's episode. As you are led away by your house's noted friends, the Gaunts. Nuno, I would say you achieved your agenda as you made an agreement with the Wills,
Perfect.
which we'll follow through next time. And Tala, you actually just made a good impression on your lord husband.
What?
For about 3 seconds. So.
That's as good as I've ever done with them. I'll take it.
All right, let's go around, say who we are and where we can find ourselves on the internet and all of that good stuff. A major thank you to Twitch chat tonight. Look, I know we just Google ourselves, okay? I'm not going to pretend like it's anything else that happens. Major thanks to Twitch chat. James, I'm going to give that -1 test dice out at the beginning of next session because apparently he's on my side and I like this. I like this very much. I like when
Nope.
people turn.
Nope.
Oh,
It's
no.
bad. It's bad,
So-
but,
Nope.
As the tables turn, and the tides do too, Susanna Grace.
what up? Consummate professional, pro streamer, been at this for years. This was a ton of fun. I'm so happy to be back in Westeros, even if I do forget which bit of Westeros I am from. Every single member of this family is getting sat down and having a very strong talking to because people... Jamie, you're doing all right. But Asta, you need a fucking spine, boy. We will sort you out. And Tala, sweet Tala. Oh dear.
I made a friend
Anyway.
of Valerian. Leave me.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did, and you will continue to be his friend, Tala. But yeah, I'm Susie, otherwise known as Susanna Grace. You can find me all over the internet at Susanna Grace. I'm a variety streamer who does video games, art streams, and tabletop RPGs. You'll next see me on Encounter Roleplay on Wednesday for the premiere of Zweihander, Betrayal of Hearthhome, where I'm going to put a lovely ragtag group through some horrible, terrible things. So I'm very excited for that. And then on Friday for Dread, where we're fighting a psychic, which is definitely not good, but very fun. And we've got Telly back. My son is back home where he belongs. So yeah, that's me, and can't wait for next week.
I like the crossover themes of a ragtag group going through very deadly and dangerous things, and being hunted by a psychic. That seems very familiar to Game of Thrones themes, as Brendan Rivers drifts past the camera. Dropping down to the man who normally haunts me with Brendan Rivers, Sam Webb. Hi, friend.
Hi. Hello.
It's
All right.
you.
It's me. It's me.
It's really
Sam.
nice being in this seat. I'm not gonna lie. I like this seat.
Yeah, good. When you said Brendan Rivers drifted past, I just imagine, that weird. What's more cool, wise? When the two guys did that stupid sketch of like MasterChef, and it like you floated around. Anyone? Is anyone getting this? No. Brilliant. Cool.
It's 100% like a float though.
Yeah. I'm in any second now. James is going to come at me with the thing. So I am RPG Webby. That's where you can find me around the internet, pretty much anywhere. Twitter, Reddit, all those kind of cool places. Vic and Bob, thank you, James. Jeez, there he is. By day, I am heading up the RPG development at Modiphius Entertainment, where we've got lots of cool games like Star Trek Adventures. We've got cool ones this year coming out, like Fallout 2D20, Actung, Cthulhu. We just say Actung at work, which is why I just went Actung. And Dune as well. Really excited about that. Hotly anticipated, thanks to Ian World's little thing there. But by night, when I'm not playing Game of Thrones, I am writing a game called The Spy Game, which is a 5e take on the spy genre, action, espionage, all sorts of adventures. And we're in the throes of development at the moment for that. That should be coming later this year. So there we go.
Exciting. And Nuno, brand new to Song of Ice and Fire, right?
Yes.
How was that?
It was amazing. I still have no idea how this works, but I think I did all right. And looking forward for the niceness to disappear. I just need a very big, impactful event that turns Astor from a nice boy into an asshole. That's what I'm expecting. Either that or death. Death will also do it. But no, it was hella fun. Let's see what happens in the following weeks. As for myself, you can find me online at jnunotex. By day, I am a boring PhD student. By night, I play games. Here on Mondays, Song of Ice and Fire, and I have another project starting soon on the 3rd of February, where it's D&D 5e, very different theme. But just follow me and you'll find out all you need to know if you want to see it. Also, different projects coming up. I can't speak about them yet. And I sometimes write one-page RPGs. So follow me on Twitter. It is where I paste everything. So yeah, that's it. See you next week, I guess.
Well, it's only going to go downhill from here, I'm sure. But always ready for a ride to hell in a handbag is our lovely Amelia Tyler.
Yeah, that's where I live now. Hell in various different formats. It's excellent. Oh god, that was so much fun. Hi, I'm Amelia Tyler. I'm a voice actor for video games mainly. And I'm going to be back here tomorrow for episode 0 of Vampire the Masquerade Fall of London. Playing a very different character with a very similar kind of skill set spread. I really wanted the challenge of playing a character that had a similar skill set but a very different personality. So that is what I will be doing tomorrow. But yeah, I love playing Talo. I don't think I've played anybody quite this nice. No, maybe once before, but not for long. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes, because Tala's been very much out of her depth all through this episode. It's very much in public, not where she wants to be, trying desperately not to make a fool of herself and just make some friends. Let's see what she's like when she's back at home.
Well, she is a delight, and I'm very sorry. Shauna!
Yeah. Liar.
Yeah, not sorry. Shauna, how are you doing, friend?
I'm doing good. This was a delight, and I can't wait for next week. Just because, oh boy, there's any people that Ellen hates. It's the Gaunts. Screw them. It should be a delight next week. Just hanging out with them. Should be fun. Yes. I'm Shauna, Flying Source on Twitter, where I have all my games, including art, which there will be art for coming soon for this game. So excited for that. And you can see me on Friday for Judge Dredd as well, where we might have done some bad things. We might be the bad guys. Who knows? It's just been like mind blowing. And in a couple hours on Onyx Path at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, I am part of Seattle by Streetlight, a Chronicles of Darkness game where we're a bunch of college students trying to find a lost friend, and we had a fairly sinister goose last time, which we are terrified of.
Ooh!
Yeah, I love that. In the dark, in pitch black, it's scary.
Where the goose.
Ooh.
Thank you all so much for being here. This is Premieres Week. We have a whole host of new games coming up for the rest of the week. As mentioned, tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have Fall of London, a new chronicle for Vampire the Masquerade from Modiphius and Paradox Entertainment. Very excited for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming up. I'm going to play a teaser right at the end of this, so make sure you stay to watch that. Very excited. On Wednesday, we have that brand new Zweihander adventure, Betrayal of Hearthome. That is at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's the same time as this show. And best wishes to that crew who deal with the fallout of the Hellfire plot. On Thursday, we return to Unhallowed Metropolis with Des Curios. It's a brand new season. And it is a good place to join. If you haven't watched it before, come and check it out for some spooky steampunk Victoriana with the wonderful Hollowtail as GM. And then on Friday, we do have Judge Dredd coming up. The miniseries of that will be finishing with the finale on January 31st. And then February 7th, we're unleashing Star Trek. So prepare to boldly go. Enjoy the feast of games that I have for you this week and into the next few months. I can't wait to share them. Thank you all so much for being here. Try not to roll too many net ones because we want to be there laughing when you do. Don't pull a no-no. Good night, everyone.